Hey everyone, Erica Zeal here. So today I want to talk about the importance of keeping your hamstrings strong during pregnancy and postpartum. So number one, most important, is to understand that we have postural shifts that happen during pregnancy and then can continue on postpartum if we don't bring awareness to them and work to improve them and correct our posture. So hamstrings play a huge role, specifically, right? Our hamstrings back here, the muscles behind our thighs, right? So our hamstrings are important because the hamstring, the fascial connection, comes all the way up underneath the glutes. And you know I love talking about how we need to have strong glutes, but not grippy glutes to have a support of our pelvis, right? We have so much that's shifting and expanding with our pelvis, and we need to make sure we have that support. So we can't just look to the glutes, we have to also look to the hamstrings. Hamstrings are also our opposition for our quads. So it's really, really important, especially to help in prevention of knee pain as well, and making sure we have a balance in our quads. We don't want to be, or in our thighs, we don't want to be overly dominant in our quads. We want to make sure we have hamstring strength and connection. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, my hamstrings are so tight, and we want to stretch our hamstrings. And why? Well, it can be beneficial to, yes, stretch your hamstrings, of course. Sometimes we miss that we actually need to work on strengthening them, because the reason why they kind of feel a little strainy or a little tight is because they're trying so hard to try to counterbalance and work, and they actually just need to be strengthened a little bit. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises that are pregnancy and even postpartum safe once you're kind of getting back into your exercise regimen. Now, keep in mind, I always want to encourage you, please listen to your body. Always, smaller ranges of motion are going to always be a little bit safer, right? Because it's all about finding that connection, is what I believe in, not as much about how big is our range of motion. And we want to go slow and controlled, right? So it's all about getting that fascial connection and getting that muscular connection on. And we also have to take into consideration how is our pelvis feeling, our back, and our core. Okay, so first I'm going to show very gentle, super safe pregnancy and postpartum is with a ball, or you could also do this with a pillow. I like the ball in particular, it's a little bit better, but if you don't have one, a pillow could work. Is so waking up the back of the hamstring here. So we're going to place the ball behind our knee and we're going to squeeze it here, okay? So watch when we do these that we don't overextend and go into our back, ladies. You want to lightly zip up, right? We're using that other leg to help support us and our core. And notice I'm using something to stabilize. So use a countertop, back of a couch, something like that. So with that knee kind of pointed a little bit towards the other knee, I want you to do little heel squeezes. So we're bringing our heel towards our butt, waking up that hamstring. Okay, so we do about 10 or so of those. Then we can continue and do little presses back. Now, when you're doing the pushes back, ladies, do not overactivate that lower back, because what I see a lot of times is we'll tend to want to do this. That's not the exercise. We're connecting up, we're light hugging of your baby if you're pregnant, and if you're not, you're zipping up and lengthening, okay? So you're doing little tiny pushes. Look how small my motion is, right? I'm just trying to lightly squeeze the ball and push back a little bit to wake up my hamstrings, okay? So then, of course, we want to do it on both sides. The next one are lunges. So again, lunges can be great during pregnancy. The only thing that can sometimes, as you're progressing through your pregnancy, and especially as you get maybe into your 3rd trimester, lunges may or may not be the greatest exercise for you. So you have to just listen to your body. For a lot of women, they're going to be great. For some of you, you may find you have to keep a really small range of motion, and you'll want to hang on to something for stabilization. The only ones of you that I would say to definitely avoid lunges is if you're having any pubic symphysis, where you get that pain at the front of your pubic bone. And so in that case, what I would recommend that you do is you do squats, because then you're going to have more stability of your pelvis, okay? Otherwise, you're going to do squats, otherwise you're going to follow me and do lunges. So I'll just start with the same legs so you ladies can see. So again, I would recommend having something to hang on to. We want to lightly connect up through our core. Watch that we're not tucking our booty. We also don't want to overextend either. So kind of find a nice middle ground. I do like to kind of lift up and lean forward, okay? When we do that, you're going to start to feel this pull of the hamstring back. Yes, we're working our glutes, we're working our quads and our core always, right? But this really emphasizes, I think a lot of women, we tend to overuse our quads when we're doing lunges, and your quads are working, but we need the back of the leg as well. So, and I do recommend doing these barefoot, because you'll get a better connection through that hamstring. So with your foot pushing down into your mat, I want you to push into your arch of the foot and the toes, wiggle your toes a little bit, and then I want you to feel like you're kind of pulling that sits bone back a little bit, okay? So we lower down, okay? When you get down there, I then want you, again, you're pushing into your foot, but you're pulling the sits back. I'm going to kind of exaggerate this. So your hips are kind of going back and then lengthening up. And notice I'm not going 100% up. When we go 100% up, we tend to lock the knees and we shut everything off, okay? So we want to keep a connection. So we lower down, push the foot into the mat, pull back with that hamstring, and lift about 90% straight. And then lower back down, pull back, and lift. So breaking those back can be a really good way to help to wake up the hamstrings. And then of course, we want to finish it and even up on the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna do deadlifts. So ladies, I'm just gonna show with like 5-pound weights. You obviously can go heavier. I am totally okay with you doing this without weight. I would even at minimum probably grab like 3-pound dumbbells just to give you a little bit of weight. But they don't have to be heavy to be effective. And of course, yes, you can do these through pregnancy as long as it feels good for your body. So that's what we're always paying attention to. Okay, but I like these a lot for hamstrings. So if you're farther along in your pregnancy, you probably want to open your feet out like a little more like shoulder width. If you're, first trimester or postpartum, you can put your feet more right underneath your pelvis, okay? So we want to zip up lightly or hug your baby lightly, soften your knees. So we're doing this with a really soft bend in our knees. You can always even bend them a little bit more because we want to keep this out of our back. This is stabilizing our back, yes, but we're not pulling with our back. There's a big difference. We're going to really use the back of those legs, okay? So the weights are in front. I want you to lengthen up through your torso. You're going to send your hips back, like the sits bones are going kind of back and up towards the ceiling. Knees are really bent. Like notice I'm really bending them. Push your feet into the mat, and then you want to feel like you're pulling up from the sits bones, zipping up the lower belly and go part way up. Okay, we control as we go back down, and then exhale, zipping up pelvic floor, lower belly, and then lift, keeping that range really small. Notice I'm not going all the way up, ladies. That's where we start to pull too much into the low back. Okay, I'll just show one more here. Sits bones back and lift. So when we feel that opposition into the foot and we pull back through here, we get those hamstrings to really wake up. And yes, you're using your glutes too. Now, when we go to stand up, I recommend bending your knees and then coming up. That's how you can keep it out of your back. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're looking for more information, you can find more on our website at knockedupfitness.com.